I say that, but I was probably born ready. Hi, I'm Steve from 1233D, and today on the weekly layer shift we have more news for you. Without further ado, we will jump straight in. So, on my research and expeditions of this week, BMW Group push towards full industrial series. BMW Group is turning additive manufacturing from just a prototyping tool to a pillar of its industrial production. With the first vehicle parts that were made by Wire Arc Additive Manufacturing, WAAM, I've seen these machines, they are wild. If you imagine a 3D printer with a welding torch attached to it, that is exactly what this machine is. It 3D prints with a welding torch. It's scheduled to enter the series production in 2027. Inside BMW Additive Manufacturing campus, there are a fleet of new generation metal printers. I mean, as we all move into this modern day and age, robots and, additive manufacturing are all becoming very, very useful tools to industry because it alleviates manual handling, humans that can suffer from fatigue, stress, all of the other things. You don't need to worry about that with a robot or a 3D printer yielding a welding torch. You just need to maintain it has power. And so long as the hamsters are running on the wheel, they are generating power to keep your printers rolling. Very, very keen to see where this goes. I will be keeping my eye on it. As I say, I have seen some of these machines firsthand in use, and they are very, very impressive. What I will say is, in certain applications, they will absolutely give you wholeheartedly a finish that you will be happy with, that's acceptable for a certain use case. If you are going to then 3D print, I don't know, a very, very complex design that contains geared shaft, what these machines allow you to do, in old terms, they will be machined on a CNC machine from a huge billet of steel or aluminium. So they will basically mill away all of the excess material until they get to the point where they've actually got the outline for the finished shape. So as you can imagine, that causes a huge amount of waste, material and time, because time is spent milling the material. And if you're only milling material that is a waste product, that's lost production time. What the arc welder additive manufacturing system allows you to do is basically rough 3D print with welding wire, and this could be any material, stainless, mild steel, titanium, whatever you can get wiring, you can print. It gives you a rough prototype part that you then put on a CNC machine, and it has minimal material to then remove. So you've alleviated the waste and you sped up the production time. It's a win-win. So it is definitely worth considering following that option if you are in the street and you are looking to produce things. You can even use this technology to repair broken components, because ultimately you're welding to metal. So provided you use the same kind of wire as the actual metal part that you want to repair is made from, you can absolutely do that. Next up, HeyGears full colour models. So for those of you who aren't familiar with HeyGears, I hadn't heard of it until recently. I literally got a prompt on my laptop yesterday: HeyGears new software update, blah blah blah. Clicked update. This is how I got this news. Some of you will be familiar with the brand HeyGears. For those of you who aren't, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. HeyGears have been in the 3D printed industry for around about 12 years now. They started out in dental resin printers, and they've now moved on to consumer grade printers on top of their portfolio of dental printers, and they have branched out into full UV colour printing as well, in form of the G1 series. I have been following this very, very closely over the time that they first announced it, right up until this present day, and they are now teasing more and more features from this machine, more results from the machine, and I have first-hand seen in HeyGears they have already started to upload full colour models that you will be able to download and print on the G1 series of machines. These models showcase the G1's capabilities in full colour printing and the 10 million plus colours available to print on the G1 due to the 8-channel ink system. There is 2 different variants of this machine. There is a 6-channel variant and an 8-channel variant. The 6-channel variant is the baseline entry point model. If you do want the 10 million plus colours, you will have to spend a little bit more money and buy the 8-channel ink system. This will give you full spectrum 3D printing. The models have been coloured to almost as someone has sat there and painted them in intricate detail and shaded. Sorry to interrupt, I'm Steve from the future. Just to let you guys know, we do have a website,
to fulfill all of your 123 3D printing needs. So if you haven't done so already, please do check out the link in the description where you can have a browse across our whole product range. And if you're outside the UK, please don't forget to check out our sister stores. We have these based in the Netherlands, in Ireland, and also in Sweden. Back to the video.
I sent Chris a video the other night. I saw on Facebook another promo that came out from HeyGears, and it was of a little, I don't know, I'm going to describe him as a goblin type Warhammer figure. He had quite a lot of different colours on him, but the fact that this machine literally shaded shadows and everything else is quite mind-blowing. And I even made a point of saying to Chris, I do believe that this will make like Warhammer obsolete, because if people want to print an army quickly for a game, tabletop gaming, they have the capability of this machine. They can blast it out and they don't even have to paint it, because what's coming out the printer as a finished product is a full colour print. Noal, bit of a weird name, but it's a name nonetheless. So Noal Unified 3D Printer and Laser Cutter Stroke Engravers. I came across this on a feed and I was like, Noal, what's all this about? And it was talking about Clipper and whatever else, which, me being in the 3D printing hobby, spiked my interest. I went away, I had a read of it, and here's the long and short of what it's about. Noal files have been released on GitHub this week. Noal is a self-hosted browser-based control panel that unifies 3D printer management and laser cutter stroke engraver control into a single dashboard. This also includes an integrated full 3D model stroke G-code library and has been built for makers, small print farms, or anyone running a mixed 3D printer and laser cutting stroke engraving workshop, massively improving workflow. There will no longer be a need to switch between two different softwares from your file explorer. In simple terms, if you have a small business where you're using multiple different types of technologies, i.e. 3D printers, lasers, or CNCs, or a print farm owner, or whatever it may be, you can use this software to basically run all of those machines through one user interface, which to me is big. To have that all incorporated into one web-based browser is quite a thing, because you're not then jumping from one piece of software to another. You can keep everything all neat and tidy in that one platform. You can monitor everything's progress without you having to be there in all different, pieces of software, and it'll give you the option to basically run your farm or your makerspace as efficiently as you can, basically alleviating all of the manual intervention that you currently have, so you can schedule jobs and all that kind of thing. It'll be quite a thing. I haven't yet played with it. I have read some of the content on GitHub and it does look to be very, very promising. Hats off to the guys that do this open source for nothing at all. It's a devotion. It takes a lot of work to create software like this, and then to give it to the community for free, I salute you. Meshi. This was a bit of a mind blower. Meshi AI 3D modeling tool. If you're in the 3D printing game and you haven't heard of Meshi, what rock have you been hiding under? Meshi is everywhere at this point in time. The amount of ads that I see on Meshi, although I've never used it, is insane. So Meshi raises over £400 million in Series B round at a £1.5 billion valuation. Meshi builders foundation models that generate 3D assets based on text image input, cutting the work out from manual polygon modeling. Now, we've talked about this on the channel previously. Do I agree with the way AI is? Blah, 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 blah. I don't think it would be fair to have AI fully replace a human, because what AI cannot do is give individuality, because every artist has their own skill, has their own eye for detail, they have their own style, and this just resonates into no matter what kind of art you do. If you sculpt 3D models for a living in ZBrush or Blender or whatever your chosen weapon of choice is, it's your creative flair that is basically producing that model, and you're putting your own individual spin on that model. I think AI software is a head start into that journey, in my opinion. I wouldn't wholeheartedly want to bank on it on a day-to-day basis, because it is taking that creativity away from the creator and basically putting it into an algorithm, and it'll churn out what it thinks you want. But who am I? Because clearly it's working for Meshi, because they have now been valued at £1.5 billion, which is not to be sniffed at. At over 400 million, the Series B round is ranked among the largest in the rounds record in the technology sector, demonstrating a shift in generative AI investment. So this is a clear indicator that people are investing in AI. And I can understand the reasons why they will be, because obviously if you can save man hours and replace it with a computer, why wouldn't you? And as I said, it's an ideal tool to give you a blank canvas. So if you were creating a statue of a human, you could get software like Meshi to create you a blank human model, which you could then continue to sculpt on, change to the look that you're actually looking to achieve. If you've been given a brief that you need a human that's got 2 heads and 6 arms or whatever, you could very easily prompt this to Meshi, and then you could then go back once it's given you that model and put in all the finite details and your creativity onto it. So in that respect, yes, it would save you a load of donkey work. You could treat Meshi as the donkey while you are the rider. We will see how far this develops. I mean, I have tried some of these out, and it shocked me, to be fair, how good a result I've achieved from one photograph, which was typically impossible until software was made publicly available. So yeah, definitely be keeping my eye on that. This is an interesting one of Chris's all-time favourite explorations ever. 3D printed rocket engines. Chris bangs on constantly about wanting to get into the upper atmosphere and everything else. Skyroot Aerospace Valkyms 1 rocket lifted off on the 18th of July, reaching a 450 kilometer low Earth orbit for a 16-minute flight. Yeah, I mean, 450 kilometers to me seems an awful long way up. I mean, the fact that it did it in 16 minutes, fair play. It's like we need these on the road, especially to get me home at night. In the Valkyrie 1 rocket, the 4th stage of the liquid propellant orbital adjustment module was powered by a cluster of 3D printed Roman 1 engines. The Roman 1 is described as India's first fully 3D printed orbital engine capable of restarting in a vacuum, a capability used for precise multi-orbit payload placement. Skyroot claim that the shift to 3D printed engines has cut production time from months to days. Now, if you think about this, to be able to 3D print part of a rocket engine in a couple of days is some major feat. It's precision engineering. I mean, it is a science of its own. Rocket science, in fact. And we have to remember that anything that is automated by a machine, repeatability is easy. Once you've got the first offs correct, you can just rinse and repeat, run the same program over and over and over again, and it will just keep mass producing the same part consistently every single time. So I am very, very keen to see where this leads. That's it from me. If you haven't done already, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. I will see you on the next one. I'm out.